everybody, it is Zoe from Sugar Street Studios. Welcome back. In today's video, I will be sharing our fifth and final part of our cake textures series. What is cake textures? Well, we look at different ways to achieve most commonly used textures on cake. So for example, we looked at 3 different ways to recreate grass, wood, stone, fur. Today we are going to be looking at metal textures. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We'd absolutely love to have you. This is the home of cake art and cake creation. So now that we've got that over and done with, let's talk about what we're going to cover today. Metal 3 ways. Recreating metal on cakes is tricky. It is not easy. The most common way to do that is to apply a luster dust. So for example, if you are creating a handbag cake with a gold buckle, the chances are that you would create a sort of honey gold colour on your paste and then put a nice gold shiny luster dust over the top. That is the easiest way to achieve a metallic effect, but I wanted to take it one stage further and just to show you what else can be done. So the first technique is this. This is a hammered copper. And you can change up how you create this with the depth of your hammering and also the tones of the colour. But this is a really interesting texture to put on a tiered cake. It looks absolutely sumptuous against black with some nice architectural flowers. So that's the first one, hammered copper. The second tip that I'm going to be showing you is how to create a corrugated metal. This can be an aluminium, it can be a tin, it can be a rusted iron. I'm going to show you how to create the texture and then how to blend different colours just to help give that slight, well, just to make it look a little bit more realistic really, rather than a flat silver. So that's the second one. And then the third one is an oxidized metal, a patina, a metal patination. So I'm doing this with copper. When certain metals oxidize, they can change color and it creates this very interesting multi-tone effect. I love this for tiered cakes. There is such a trend at the moment for mixed media cakes, interesting textures and colors, and something like this is a great addition to a cake tier. So let's get started and I will show you how it's done. Your hammered copper starts off black. So if you're covering a whole tier in this effect, you will be using a black sugar paste, and you are simply going to use the end of a ball tool, the size of which you can decide, to push in and make that hammered effect all across the black. Now you'll see as I'm putting the ball tool in that I'm not keeping a uniform round shape. I am actually distorting and squashing those shapes slightly. Once you have hammered your paste all the way around, you want to brush over the colour of your choice. Now I have used fractal colours, copper here, which I have mixed with a food grade alcohol to create a paint, and that will just dry up as I finish layering it on. The important thing is you want to make sure you get paint right inside of those indentations all the way through. Once it's dry, you want to take a clean food sponge and make it slightly damp, and then go back over your copper effect, and basically you're stippling the paint off, and that's going to give it a lovely weathered irregular texture, and that is it. To achieve a corrugated metal, you want to start with a mid-grey sugar paste base, and I have created my corrugation, if that's the word, I don't know if it is, using a very firm dowel, a very skinny dowel. You can just see I'm working my way across the sugar paste and pressing in at equal distance to create that up, down, in, out corrugated look. There are 2 ways to do this on an actual cake. You can either texture the paste off of the cake or cover a cake in the usual way and then press your vertical dowel into the paste around the cake. If you're going to do that method, I suggest you undercoat your cake in a chocolate ganache to make it nice and firm. Once you have your texture in place, you then want to mix up some silver luster dust with a little bit of alcohol to create a paint, and you want to wash this up and down and across your corrugated sugar paste. Now you may need to do a couple of layers of this, and you can just see as I'm building that up how that's creating a nice tone. Next, I am going in with a pearlized brown. Now this, I believe the colour is called Mole, but you can get all sorts of different colours out there. Essentially, you're looking for something that has a metallic sheen to it, that's either a black or brown base, that's going to help you define the ridges of your corrugated metal. You can see I'm applying them in the deeper sections, dirtying my metal down slightly, but also drawing my eye into the pattern that we've created. Once that's dry, I'm now repeating the same thing, but with dry dust and a dry brush rather than the wet metallic paint that we were doing before, and I'm just rubbing that in. This is also what you would do if you were going to create a rust on a metal. You would go in the same way. And then finally I'm going back in with the silver luster dust to help make that really look metallic and shiny. You can coat the whole thing in a layer of confectioner's glaze or a spray glaze such as Shell and Shine that will stop the dust from transferring and also add an extra luster. And that is it. So that principle you can apply to different types of metal, but for a silver metal I just use those two colours and those two methods. I'm creating a copper patina here, so I'm using a base colour of turquoise and jade. These are magic colours which I'm marbling into my paste. Now this is the base of the colour, and you obviously want to just have a little play around and just check that you're happy. You can see I've turned it over. I prefer the markings on the underside because I do want some distinction between the two colours. So you want to create your marbled first and then go ahead and cover your cake in the usual way. I'm obviously just going to do this on a display board just to show you. Now, once you have your marbled effect, we want to go in and stipple the cake. I use a brush, which I only use for food use. And if you can see, I'm concentrating in some areas and making it lighter in the others, so it's not uniform all the way round. The paste is nice and soft, it's going in nice and easy. Now what we want to do is start applying the copper. So I've got my copper petal dust from Fractal Colours that I'm using, mixed in with a little bit of alcohol, and I am now randomly applying the copper colour across the top of our sugar paste. Now you see that I'm not going too heavy-handed and I'm not over wetting the brush because I want to create a more of a sort of mottled effect. Once the copper is dry, I've then gone in with some dry dust with a little bit of brown and a little bit of copper, and I'm now going over the top and I am rubbing a little bit of this darker colour into different patches of the patination, and that's just to help accentuate the development and growth of the oxidization, if you like, in the colour. Just makes it a little bit less flat. And then finally, once you're happy with that, your final touch is to add some extra copper. Now I've used a toothbrush to do this with my edible copper paint, the same mix that I made before, and I am blobbing this on. You can see how it's a little random, and I'm not going too heavy, and I'm changing up the size of the spots, and that's going to create another layer. So as you're looking at it, it's not a completely flat texture. We go down where we've stippled, and we also have a slightly raised section where we've added these sort of toothbrush blobs of copper. Now obviously you can do this method with your own colorway. It's a nice abstract one, this, which is why I like it. But if you search up copper patinated metal, you'll see this is what it looks like. So guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, if you haven't seen the other lessons in this series, go and check them out. We cover grass and stone and wood and fur, all very, very useful effects. And if you would like to learn more, if you are enjoying what you're seeing, then come and join us at the Sugar Street Studios Cake Academy, where you can subscribe for a month or for a year and get access to over 1,000 in-depth, high-definition videos, plus support and forums and masterminds and all sorts of fun things. It has been absolutely great to see you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and as I say, if you're not following us, what are you waiting for? Come and follow us so that you can keep abreast of all the new stuff that we put up on the channel. Lovely to see you all. Take care. Bye.